All right, well, welcome to the talk today. Today we're going to talk about a few of the top 3 trends for mechanical contractors and some questions out in our industry. So before we kind of jump into those questions and topics, I want to introduce myself. So my name is Rick Yelley. I come from the construction and HVAC background. In the construction HVAC industries, I've been in project management, service management, and also from the field. I have about 15 years of experience in both of those industries combined. And with that, have some OEM, OSHA, EPA, and PM certifications from those years of work. Currently, I am a director of operations for a large HVAC franchisor across North America. So what I do with that is help operational processes and development of new technology and ideas to help them grow their mechanical contract base. So a lot of things have changed in our industry and will continue to change. And that's kind of what we're kind of having a talk about today in regards to, general industry. So through our time over the years as contractors, we get very complacent sometimes. And with the evolving world of technology and what's coming out and the way the world's going right now, especially, we can get caught sometimes saying, that's how we've always done it. And a lot of contractors will do that. They will still have a successful business and continue to push through, but change is always a good thing and not always a bad thing. And with that statement on the screen, as that's how I've always done it, we have to kind of go outside of the box to grow. And what I've been seeing in the industry is that you can't take old ideas and new ideas and try to make them work together. We have to go the way the industry is kind of taking us. And that's in a multitude of different ways. So we'll talk more about that in a couple questions that are going to be asked about the industry. But we have to get out of that mindset and kind of evolve with the times. Instead of what we've always done in the past may not always be what can be done today in the present. And that's super important in any industry, but specifically the HVAC industry, on how much changes that are coming up the road. Now, these 3 big industry trends that we see, and sometimes it's kind of pain points, right? There's a lot of things in our day-to-day business that we can put out there as, struggles or pain, but I kind of want to talk about 3 in particular that we have seen in the industry over the years. And one is the paper process. And what I mean by that is everything is kind of a paper form, paper field service reports, getting the technicians to do all the stuff in the field on paper and then processing that. And, with the world of the gig economy out there and everything's really going digitized. And we'll talk about different reasons why that happens. But paper processes in business is slowly going away. And there's a lot of inefficiencies with paper processes out there. Now, again, I go back to that's how we've always done it. Yeah, you may be running a really good business, but there's probably ways to make it more efficient so then we can get more done. Paper processes do take up a lot of time, and especially in the world of COVID and also in the world of labor shortages. It is a process that can be easily resolved with the newer technologies that are coming out in our industry, and we'll talk more about those efficiencies and what can happen with moving from a paper to a real-time data solution. The second kind of big industry trend or challenge that we're seeing is labor shortage, right? That's no new news, but lately over the last couple of years, it has been kind of increasing, and that's a problem for the trades. It's always been a struggle of mine. I do sit on a few boards for schools in my hometown, and you do see a difference between a 4-year education and a trade school. Trade schools seem like it is a lesser of the two, and that's not always the case. So, but we're dealing with that right now in our industry of not having enough technicians, or some of them are actually getting out of the trade. They're going to do something else, and that's not a good thing for us. Over the last 2 years during COVID, there has been a decrease in enrollment in trades, especially HVAC, a lot of other things like diesel mechanics, electricians, all that other kind of stuff as well. But we have seen a decrease in it. Now, luckily in 2022, that is increasing. So that's some good news coming into our industry, that we're at least getting more younger generation, even some older, get into the trades to help us in the field. But also that poses a good point for, why go to a technology society in our industries, because if we have a lot less labor, we need to find ways to make our jobs and our business more efficient. So then what the labor that we have, we can utilize to its fullest potential. There's a term that kind of gets thrown around there a lot called workforce optimization. That's exactly what we have to do. And by leveraging different technologies and more process efficiencies, we can help combat that. Now, it won't be solved. There's no silver bullet with that as well. You still need people to get into the trade so we can have out, because we do have an aging out problem. But having those aging out people that are coming out of the field, we can possibly use and leverage technology to keep them in our business. They have the knowledge and it's all really kind of upstairs, but we need to have them continue that learning for the newer technicians that we do hire. And that is also another thing right now, is that skills trade gap of teaching new technicians coming into the field. So we can leverage technology to help with all of that. But one of our big trends is obviously labor shortage, and hopefully over the next year or two that can kind of climb back out and help the industry. And the third one is time management. So both of those two trends before kind of tie into this last one is, time is money. And if we are having our people being very inefficient with their time, then that just makes more complicated business, right? We're not being effective. We're not being to our fullest potential. And sometimes that can also be kind of, measured on money and return on investment and what we can do. So time management, even coming from the office, to the field, to how fast we get information, it's very important. And when I was talking about the paper processes, that has a lot of time invested into it. And, there's a lot of things, on cash management cash flow, with paper processes, it always takes a little bit longer to get that into the business and then build out to the customer. But you'll see that time management is very big problem in our industry, because sometimes we're stuck in those older processes and what we've always kind of done. So some of the technology I'll kind of talk about will kind of help with that, to get with our optimizing our workforce to our fullest potential, work with what we got, maximize their time and effort without, seeing it like it's a marathon, like they'll just go, but having ways to utilize different tools and processes to make the most efficient time of everyone will go a long way in the industry. So kind of talking about those three big trends and challenges, I can go on and on with a lot of other trends and challenges, but there is a three big common questions that we are facing or getting asked by in this industry. And the first one really is, what's changing industry right now? Now, there's a lot of things changing. We'll talk about the changing technology, but there's a lot of things changing just day to day in our business. I mean, look at the last 24 months in our business with COVID. We had to drastically change how we did business with, people closing down their buildings. We're not allowed to go in there. Vaccination. There's a lot of different things that have changed our industry from how we doing business, from being face-to-face to then being not face-to-face. And from a service industry, HVAC luckily was a critical role and during the pandemic with solutions that we're giving, but it's not going away. And I think changing the way we do business is going to be a forever thing, in the sense of, we need to get real-time data, have interactions with customers, that we send things to them, show them more reports or documentation. It's going to be a thing now where you're not going to just walk in and hand them something and walk out. It's going to be a ever evolving relationship that's now maybe not face to face. So that has definitely been changing in our industry right now. And like I said, utilizing that technology to keep the customer informed, showing how their building's performing, their equipment's performing is super critical. And then having that real-time data just gets that information faster to the customer. So all of that kind of plays into this new kind of customer service role that we're playing with the pandemic. Now, in the actual world of HVAC, getting a little technical, we're going through a lot of things coming up in 2023. There's a lot of things coming out with new SEER ratings for energy efficient equipment. New equipment manufacturers are going to come out making different types of equipment in regards to those regulation changes for the energy efficiency side, I should say, but also this new refrigerants that are coming out. And they're not really new, right? In Europe and Japan, they've been using these for a long time, but the A2L refrigerant change that's coming into the United States will change the way slightly how we do business with in regards to regulations, specs, equipment manufacturers, a little intricacy of equipment, and also price. I mean, supply chain, could have been an industry challenge right now as well, but that's all going to change as well, being more expensive. We have to make sure we're pricing it in projects, but also tracking this equipment and just dealing with those same challenges we're doing today, but just have a little bit more regulation built into it. So those changes are coming. That's documented. The government said it's coming. ASHRAE's put statements out there. In January 2023, we're going to starting to see some changes. In addition just to the equipment changing, going through these terms that you probably heard, electrification and decarbonization, those are other big pushes that's changing our industry right now, going to more using electric furnaces, electric solar. There's a lot of things that they're trying to get to what's called electrification. And then from the decarbonization side, obviously less carbon producing equipment to help ozone and help the environment. So those things are also going to change. Now it's kind of, there's some things changing right now, going to alternative fuels, alternative types of refrigerant like CO2 and things like that. But our industry is changing and we all need to change with it. So education is key with changing in this industry. Never stop learning, because if you don't stop learning, you kind of get to that thing, this is how we always done it. Well, it's changing regardless if you want to change or not. So we all need to change with what's going on. And going back to the labor shortage, we have to adapt to that. If we can't hire all the people that we need to hire, we need to find different ways to be efficient and get the work done. It's always going to be there. So instead of just saying like, well, we need more people to get all this done, we need to find alternative ways to make our business successful and kind of keeping up with all the work. So that kind of leads into the next question, and the question is, what's coming out in the marketplace that can help my business? Well, there's a lot of stuff. And I mentioned this term before, this gig economy. What that means is there's just a lot of technologies coming out there. Now, coming from a field management software that you can do a lot of processes that can speed up and make it more efficient, that's a huge, right? That's not only affecting the office, it's affecting the field, it's affecting your customers, and there's a lot of things that are coming out that's very important. But that's from the software side, but also from the field side, you're seeing a lot of technology that kind of interacts with that field service software that is coming, right? Predictive maintenance, putting sensors on equipment so then you can track when equipment will break down. You can have eyes and ears, having that 24/7 type of approach to see when equipment breaks down. We get alerted, we can be out there proactive, less downtime for the customer. You can have, a piece of equipment running and 13 states away, and you can see how it's running right now with that type of real-time data. And that's very important, not only from the equipment side, but from the contractor side, so we can keep eyes and ears on it as well at all time. And then we're seeing that with the indoor air quality, again, with the pandemic, having our equipment running fine as well, and downtime, that's all good uptime for the customer. But now it's becoming more important of indoor spaces, right? LEED certification years ago was the thing for energy, and that's great. You're going to start seeing a shift, and probably already have, that customers are more wanting to get their building up to snuff in either purification technologies, upgrading filters, ventilation to help with that indoor environment. We've always think like the equipment's running well, we take care of equipment. Well, now we're going to be solutions providers for indoor air quality and on other things in the building. So there's a lot of different things coming out with that can interact in our day-to-day. And then asset technology, keeping track of equipment, making sure all of those things are being taken care of, and then giving reporting and energy savings and capital planning out to our customers just helps our overall business, that we can either plan for, but also be those solutions providers and giving them guidance on what's coming. Instead of saying it's broke, I need money now to fix it, you need it today. Let's be those kind of solutions that we can say, well, hey, 3 months from now, this is going to be coming, so let's plan for it. Very important in our industry, and using the power of technology is very prevalent. Now, the last question is how can technology grow my business? And that kind of goes back to the efficiency gains. So having software that can help streamline your business and different processes. So let's take the paper example. If your field technicians are working from a Monday to Friday, they have all their paper, they turn everything on Friday. Well, chances are that paper is not going to be reviewed and entered and billed until the following week. So you're usually around a 2-week behind on billings. But if you have technology with real-time data that the technicians are entering, that goes straight to the office right away, you can speed up your process to payroll, and 2 is to get those bills out faster so you can bring that cash in quicker. That's just one example. From purchase orders, from timesheets, from ordering parts, planning your maintenance, planning your work orders, that can all be an efficiency gain by using the power of technology, especially from the field service management front. And that all those efficiency gains can give us more time to do other things, right? If our technicians are more efficient in the field by utilizing certain technologies, it gives them more hours in a day to do something else. So you can do more with less, in a sense. Now, I know that's a very big, sometimes hard concept to grasp, but if my technician can be so much more efficient, let's say on 3 work orders and get it done in 6 hours, I have 2 extra hours a day for my technician to do something else. Either take another service call, do another maintenance call, go to another project. It just helps that whole overall impact of the business of being everyone more efficient. Same thing in the office. If someone in the office can go through work orders and get it out to the customer quicker, then they have more time to do something. Maybe put together a safety program for their office, or do something else that we've always been like, oh, we've never had time to do that. That's where you get those kind of returns on being able to do other things in your business. So that's just from the standpoint of having efficiency gains. And when you have efficiency gains, then your customers are happy. And like all the other technology I was describing about sensor technology and all this, taking all that data and looking at it and then giving solutions back to the customer as overall customer satisfaction. So again, we make an intangible service, right? We go out there, we fix equipment, we do maintenance on it. That's very intangible, right? The customer pays for something that they virtually can't see. If I'm selling a cell phone to you, I can say, this is a great cell phone, you buy it, you can then play with it. But in our industry, it's okay, just, we're going to go out and do the work and everything should be uptime and good. But now with the power of technology and what the reporting and the information that we can share with the customer, it makes our business tangible. And that makes our customers want to stay with us longer because we actually show them something. We show them that we're caring and we want them to succeed as well in their business. It's more of a partnership than contractual agreements with our customers. So a lot of the technology that you can use in today's world can help your business grow in many different assets. And you're probably thinking right now, I have a lot of pain points in certain areas, and technology can fit right in there to help with those pain points, from getting a field service management software, from getting these other technologies I talked about. Overall, it can really help your business and make your team more efficient. The technology can help your customers, showing the intangible to being tangible, but also from an internal communication standpoint. How can technology grow the business? Well, it kind of goes to the pillars in the front, or the 3 industry trends we talked about, is time management, and also that kind of communication between office and field. Now, if you're working in a service industry, sometimes it's difficult to kind of keep that communication 2-way street. And how technology can bridge that gap is that, having the field technicians get all the information that they can see or get passed down from the office without having so many touch points. Having that view, and okay, if I'm in the field right now, I go to this site and I can see what quotes are on my mobile device, for example, or here's all the customer information, here's the last time we were here, here's all the asset information. That's super powerful without continuously calling the office. And same thing with the office, they're getting the technician's information back in real time. You now have a better communication between that office and field. So then that information is not being shared, lost, it's always being communicated. So that makes everyone more efficient. That helps reduce phone calls. It helps make everyone's time more efficient. And then the last thing is with real-time data, in any regard of technology, especially with the financial picture, if we're getting information into our office and our office is looking at it and we're doing everything very timely, you get a better picture of your business in not real time, but it's quicker than if you have, like, let's say, a paper process where sometimes it may be harder to see the business and how it's doing financially because that stuff may not be entered into the system yet. But with real-time data, it's in there. We look at it, we review it, then we get a really good picture of how our business is performing. So if then there's issues or things that we can correct, we can steer the ship a little bit quicker with that real-time data coming in rather than having to wait and see how it kind of pans out. So having that information come in quicker, review it, we can make better business decisions quicker with the power of the technology and the data coming faster into our business. We can review it maybe from like a service manager or a management level where it's like, how is my business doing? How are my T&M work doing? I can go in there and look at it really quickly instead of you may having to wait till it's entered or posted into the system. Real-time data can have a really good kind of picture on that.